right, what's up, guys? Secure your Elixir apps with Paraxial.io. From code analysis and bot defense to dependency checks, they've got you covered. Elixir first design with GitHub integration. Elevate your security at Paraxial.io. All right, guys, so we're going to attempt some live coding today. I can't make promises. I don't know how it's going to go because it's going to be a lot of front end and tailwind, but I think it'll be fun. It's been a minute since I touched on the Gist Clone. And in fact, why don't we go ahead and pull up that project to see where we left off. Terminal. I got to share my screen. I'll turn off chat unless we start getting some action. Make this bigger. All right, I'm going to just CD to my project, documents, develop, Elixir Mentor, Elixir Gist, and then we'll go ahead and open up VS Code. And it has been a minute. Are you guys okay if I make this a little smaller? It's a little insane for me. I think that is good. All right. What's up, Constantine? Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. All right, now I want to run this project. I got to make sure my Postgres Docker container is running. Now it is. All right, so let's see, mix phx.server. Let's hope it runs. Okay. I did make TZ data. Well, we should be fine. Let's just try running it again. I don't think that will matter. Okay. I need to open up a browser window. I'm going to make this, damn hot corners. All right, now we're just going to pull up our localhost 4000. And here is our Gist clone. Man, I feel like it's been so long since I've touched this project. All right, so I'm going to just log in. Jacob at Elixir Mentor. No, I don't want you one password. elixirmentor.com and Elixir Mentor, I think, is my password. Cool. All right, so we have all of this, right? We can create a gist. Let me just grab some code and we'll make a gist really quick. Let's find our context. Yeah, my volume's good. Everyone should be able to hear me. Code size good, guys. All right, so let's go to our, I don't want this, I want our context, gist, and then let's just make our create gist, gist clone. All right, so let's see, we'll call this a create gist function from context file, create gist.ex. And then we'll just go ahead and paste our code in there and we'll make sure everything works. We create the gist. It takes us to the detailed gist version where if we create it, we can edit and delete. All right, cool. And then if we go to all gists, you can see them here, but our text looks like it's black. Let me just make a quick adjustment there. Sorry guys, I got to remember this project. Okay, this is it. And then all gists live. Okay. And we have our nice little gist component that we're creating here. And just for the example here, let's go ahead and just put an outer div here and add white text so we can see what's going on. Okay, and then if we go back to the app here, all right, and now you see that we have all of the gists loading, and this is where we got in the last video. So it's not very pretty, but at least we have our data showing. So we see, you know, the date, the user, the name of the function. This is not in order either, so if I forget, remind me to we have to sort what descending on the timestamp. So, but we have all our gists coming back. So now we just have to make it pretty. And let's open up Figma so we can reference our designs here. All right, cool. So we have our designs, and let's see. We have our create gist view done, and then we have our gist view after it's created done. And now we're on the all gists view right here. And let's look at it again. Okay, we're gonna just keep the top simple. We're not gonna add the search for now. So we're just going to keep it simple. We're just gonna keep the all gists there. And all we're gonna do today is concentrate on these individual, this gist component, okay? So we'll get this showing. Hopefully we'll get our line numbers working. It's going to be a little tricky. It just depends. I want to keep this stream to about an hour. So when we hit that time is going to just determine how much we get done, an hour or less, honestly. So, but we're going to get all this in. So this looks good. All right. So let's dive in. I'm going to make this smaller. Can I views? I forgot how to hide this view. It doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna just put this like over here underneath me just so we can reference it as we're building. I think that's good. And then we'll have, you know, we'll have our browser open where we can see what we're doing. And now we'll code and we'll start knocking this out. And what we're going to want to do first is we want to tackle this outer div that I actually just put in, but we're going to update it a little bit. And that is going to be the whole component, right? So I don't really want to have the text color in our outer div, but things that we're going to want to keep in mind, we're going to just want padding from the edge. We're going to want our gist center, and we'll probably want padding underneath. So, you know, as they stack, but we can adjust this stuff as we go. But let's just start with a justify center, and then we'll have some padding on the X. I don't know what it's going to be, but we can adjust it and see how it looks as we go. I'll just throw a number out there, and then we want it to be the full width of the parent component that it's inside, right? So if I save that, it'll go black again, but you see that our text has a little bit of padding on it now. So that looks good. And then the next thing that we're going to want to do is we want to work on our little header section. And that's where you see the profile picture, username, file name, date, okay, and the description, right? So we're going to want to create another div. What I'm going to do here actually, we'll just build off this div, actually. That'll be fine. So let's see here. We want this to have our image, and then next to our image, we're going to have our username and email. So we're going to just concentrate on the outer div. And I think what we'll want to do is just, I'm just going to, I wonder if I should just get rid of this. Yeah, we're going to just start over. I feel like that's gonna confuse me, especially because I'm coding live, and I'll lose track of what I'm doing. So let's just create another div here. Boom. All right, and then we'll have a class here, and we're going to have our image inside of this with our username and file name. So this is going to be like a wrapper to our image and then another div. So we're going to want to make this a flex box, or yeah, flex. And then we'll just say justify between. And guys, you have to hang in there with me. Tailwind and front end dev is not my strength. So if I do anything that you wouldn't do, you can yell at me in the chat, but you know, I hack my way through this. And then we're going to want a little bit of padding, or a little bit of margin underneath, but I think let's wait and see what it looks like. So now we're going to want to get our image. Okay. And so we need a little image tag. And let's see, our source is going to be our profile in our static. We're not calling any dynamic images right now. We just have our user image.svg. So we're just going to go ahead and say images and then user image.svg. And then we'll put our alt text in right away because it's easier to do it now. And we'll say profile image. And then we're going to want some Tailwind classes here. And let's see, off the bat, let's just save it and look at what we're doing. Okay, so we have a big ugly profile image there. But we're going to want to make it round and then control the width and the height, right? So let's go ahead and say rounded full. And I believe, rounded full is a class that we created in a previous tutorial. Let's just look. Let's find it. Rounded. Maybe that's just a Tailwind class. It might be. It's probably a Tailwind class. All right, so we're going to round this, and then we're going to make the width 8 and the height 8 just to control the size. And then when we save it, it made it smaller, and then you can kind of see the roundness. It's a little dark, but hang in there, guys. We'll fix that shortly. And let's see, actually, our image, we can probably... Well, we'll make minor adjustments once we have more out here. Sorry if that's noisy. There's an airplane going over and I have my door open. And then we're going to want the gist details now next to this, right? And that's going to be our user email and our file, our gist name. So let's go ahead and make another div underneath this. Let's see. So let's just do our div and then class. We're going to want our font to be bold and our text to be base. And then our text color is going to be our EM Lavender Dark. Lavender, ER, dark. And then we have our then we want to add some Elixir code. All right, so now we need to call our @current_user. And actually, well, we're going to do this temporarily. I don't want to call current user because obviously the username would change for whoever's looking at it. But we need to preload the user that created the gist, and I don't believe we've done that yet. And I don't want to sidetrack myself. Let's just look. We'll verify. Context. So we have our gist. And when we, where's our list? Yeah, so we're not preloading the user because we do have, if we look at our gist schema, it does belong to a user. So we're going to be able to preload it. But right now we're only going to have access to the user ID, which, you know, actually I suppose we could just do the user ID for now. And then that'll be maybe less confusing. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to call gist.userid because then at least we know that it's specific to our user. And then we want to put this little / in there, and that's white. So that kind of makes things a little tricky. And we can just put a span tag in here, and then we're going to say class, and then we're going to say text white. And then we're going to, in between the opening and closing span, we're just going to do our / and then we can do our gist name. So then we're going to do, I forget what this is called, but I forgot the equal sign here. I forgot what this syntax is called, but it allows us to write Elixir in our Heeks file. So @gist, and then we can just call our name and then close off that tag. And now when we save it, we should see, yeah. So now we see our username or our user ID of who created the gist and the file name. So that's cool. It doesn't look like this yet. So we'll work on this. Don't chase the rabbit. Thank you. Yeah. Oh man. ADHD, man. You got to be careful sometimes. All right. So we want this to be, all right. What are we doing here? We have our text and div flex justify between. Do you think Phoenix Elixir will become more widely adopted? I mean, I think we all hope so. I think when you work with Phoenix and Elixir, you see the light. I mean, obviously, it's probably not the solve all for everything, but for web applications, I think it's quite amazing. I'll pull up the comments when we're not looking at our designs, and then we can all chat. All right, and then let's see. We have our image. All right, we got to just get, all right, we have our image. We have that in our flex, flex justify between. All right, and then we have our current username. So this would be, let's see. I think what I want to do is do like a flex. We have our current username, and then under it is our date and then our description, right? All right, let's focus on that. So we're going to make another div here. And this div is going to have our date, and I'm not going to format it quite yet. We have to refactor a little bit because if you remember in the detailed gist view, we formatted it, but we did everything in that live view. We're going to pull that functionality out and put it in like a utility file that we can share throughout the project. So we're always formatting our dates the same way. So we want to do, let's see, our date here. So we need our little, all right. And we're going to put our at gist dot updated at, okay. And let's just set up this div a little cleaner. And we want our text to be white. So text white. And then we also want our font to be bold. All right. And we want the size of this text to be larger. So let's see, it's white, and then we're going to do text size large. Okay, save that, and let's look at what we're doing. All right, so there we go, our unformatted date, that's okay. But everything is looking good. I mean, we got to stack it, right? But we're fine. We'll get to that in a second. And now let's worry about our description. So let's do another div. And inside this, we're going to do our gist description. So at gist description, and let's see our class. We're going to need our description to be small. So let's do text.small, and let's make it white to match the designs. And maybe that's all we need. We want this to be a paragraph because the descriptions could be long. All right, so just change the div to a P, right? And now let's look at what we're doing. Okay, so now we have our descriptions. We have all the data except our code snippet showing. And I think we're slowly but surely getting there. All right, now we need to make this prettier, which I think we need a column, flex column. All right, so let's see. Our image is here. Right here. We want things to stack underneath. So if we do a div, I'm going to just wrap all of this. All right, and then class, and then let's do a flex column and a flex box, and let's save that and hope things are stacked. Okay, things are stacked. That is good. And let's see, our image and so this div needs to be closer to our profile image. All right, and how do I do that? Let's see, flex column, and then our flex items center. So if I do another div here, flex items center. There we go. All right. See, I'm just proud when things kind of work like I need them to. Like front end, I struggle at. So thank you guys for putting up with me. Yeah. All right. So this is looking good, right? It's kind of looking like our designs. We have our description showing. We need our comment and our bookmark images, right? So we have our username. we have our date, we have our description. All right, and then we need to put our bookmark and comment text. And let's see, that can go, let's see, where's my, okay, flex item center. And then we want to go outside of that. So right here, this is where we're going to make our div for our comments and our bookmark image. All right, and let's see. We're gonna make it, let's just do class equals. So we're gonna do a flex and then items center. And we'll worry about margins once we start making tweaks, I think. And we're gonna want an image here. And that is, let's go down. So our comments image is comment.svg. So we're just going to do images, comments.svg, and our alt text can be comment count. Okay, and then we need our count, our counter, which is text, right? And we'll just hard code this for this one. And this is just going to be a span. And inside the span, it's just going to be a 0 for now. And let's see, our class, we need to make our text white. And let's go ahead and make the height 6. We might have to adjust this stuff, and I don't know, we'll put some padding on the X for now. Let's save that and just make sure it's showing up. Okay, where's our image is not showing. Images.comment.svg. Okay, there we go. So that is looking all right. And then we'll go ahead and just put our bookmark in there. And we're just going to copy the same thing. So we'll do image. And our source is images. And I believe, let's see, our bookmark outline. It's just bookmark outline.svg, and then our alt text we can make save count, right? Because every time it's bookmarked, or I guess we could call it bookmark count. Bookmark count, and we're going to do the same thing. So a span. And this is just going to be a 0 for now as well. And everything can be the same as above. So text white, height is 6. And I think that's good. Maybe, well, I don't know if we'll need the padding. We can adjust it. And there we go. So we have our comments and our bookmark. We could probably afford to put some padding between these, but between the 0 and the bookmark, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. I think that is looking pretty good. And now we have to do our text area underneath. All right, so let's see, we're going to copy, I'm trying to think, let me pull up, I'm going to just close some of these files we're not using. We have our gist, where is that? Our gist, is it this one? Yes, so our gist live.heeks. let's just see here. All right, so we're gonna essentially copy the same thing we're doing here. So we're gonna have our text area with our line numbers, right? And we have our JS hook that is counting the lines, and we have a text area, a sliver, like a column, that we're putting our dynamic line numbers in, and then we have our actual code snippet to the right. Okay, and so we're going to basically copy this. Let me shrink that, and I'm going to just split this to the right so we can have both things open. And then I can kind of cheat and read some code. All right, so we're going to create our text area. We have syntax numbers. It's going to be read-only. Just preview. Let's see. Let's just open up our CSS as well. So if we go over here, we have our syntax numbers, our line numbers. Okay, border white. What is the difference between Okay, so the only thing that's different is we don't have like this header above, so we have like this border is square. So we're gonna have to probably create our own CSS piece for this. So let's just look at line numbers. Let's see what we did. This was so long ago, I don't remember. Oh, I don't even know if you guys can see what I'm doing. 2 years ago, you taught me about Elixir, and now I'm grateful. That's horrible news, Hussein. To go to Golang from Elixir? I'm sorry, dude. Oh, I should turn the comments off so you guys can see the CSS. So I just don't remember what I did, so I'm just reading right now. We have our text area. We have our line numbers. What I'm going to do is we're going to just copy what we did. Okay, wait, syntax numbers. Where is that? Syntax numbers. I feel like I didn't name these things very well. All right, so we have our syntax numbers, the unfocused and focused, and we have a border white and border white, syntax area, border white, line numbers. Did I don't remember. Let's see. Where am I controlling? Oh, here we are, rounded border. So the left side. Okay. We're going to just copy this. Let's see. We want the whole gist wrapper. I remember, so this code, this pre-code, that's for highlight.js. I believe, like, I had issues with the formatting of it actually working if I properly formatted this. Maybe I'm imagining things. Let's just look. Do you guys remember what oh, good. Maybe that. Nope, that is not an existing. Just 1 second. Let's just pull up data grip and let's get a. Oh, wait, we have our. I don't even need data grip. Oh, no, that's my user ID. I need to grab a gist ID. We can close these. We don't need that. Close that. Elixir gist. Okay, we have our gists table here. Let's just grab a ID. Close that. All right, so now if I go to gists, we'll just put in an actual ID up here. That should work. Okay. So it is still working. So I was imagining things for not formatting things correctly, right? That's good. All right, so what we're going to do is let's just copy and paste the whole gist wrapper, right? So let's just grab this gist wrapper. I think that's right. And we're going to put this underneath, inside of the last closing div tag. Save it. And do we think it'll work? Hey, it's kind of working. That worked better than I thought it would. So a couple things, obviously. Formatting is a bit weird. Oh, I wonder if that was the bug. Let's go back. Is the formatting on this odd? No. Is it odd when I edit it? No. All right, well, we'll mess around with some things. All right, so back to all gists. We have our rounded borders. Our numbers are not perfectly aligned, and as you can see, they're not working down here. And that's because for our JS hook to work, you need to have an identifying ID. And before, just calling it gist wrapper or syntax numbers was enough because we only were using it in one place on the view. And the problem with our all gist view is now we need it in multiple places, right? So we're going to have to add an identifier. So we can use like the gist ID, but it needs to be unique. So we're going to have to slightly modify our JS hook to have a unique identifier passed in with the ID. And we'll do that in a second, but that's why we only see it on our first gist. But let's just, we'll focus on cleaning this up first. And yeah. Let's look at our code. All right, so we don't want this line in there either. I think that is from, yeah, this HR. We'll just delete that. And now when we go back, now we don't have a line there. And we could just do some margin on the bottom. So go up here. We're in the, sorry, I need to remember you guys need to be able to see my screen. So if we just add some margin on the bottom here with MB, and I don't know, we'll do 20 points. And there, now we have a nice space in between. And obviously we want to have like preview text. We'll probably just show the first 10 lines and then cut it off. And then we'll make the whole thing selectable where you can see the detailed view, right? But let's finish with, let's see, we need to have a rounded top border, and we need to align, we need our profile image to be next to our user ID. So we just have a little bit of cleanup to figure out. And this is where you guys need to buckle in because it might get rough. I apologize because this is where I struggle. All right. All right, let's see. All right, so sorry, I already forgot what we need to do. All right, we need a little bit of margin on the bottom of our description. So, all right, so right here we have our flex column. I feel like we could have some margin on the left between the profile image. So margin left, and I don't know, let's just do 4. Yeah, that's already better. All right, and then let's see. We want some margin underneath our description. Margin. Margin on. All right. Let's just worry about our top border now on our. So rounded. All right, so we have our text area. I think this is where we have to abandon the other CSS that we did. So we have syntax numbers, border. Now this might work. All right, let's see. Border. So rounded bottom left. Is our bottom left rounded? Yes. Okay. And then we want our top right rounded as well. I mean top left. So we want to do rounded top left, and we want it medium. Okay, so that's there. So that's rounded, and we need some space on our, let's see, padding, margin bottom. We need some margin underneath our, let's see. Oops, I want the VS Code. So let's see, we have our, where is our, okay. So our justify between, this is where we want margin on the bottom, margin bottom, 4, and now that should, okay, yep, so that moves this down. And now to figure out how to get our border, our outline showing, back to our code. So rounded, so rounded bottom right, and then we also want our rounded top right. This is our text area to the right of our line numbers, right? So I know I'm kind of all over the place. So that's rounding this corner. All right, and now okay, just preview bottom right, top right, and then we have our markup. All right, and we want our profile image to be up a little. I think that looks good. All right. I'm going to just worry about this borderline because I think I would go down rabbit holes and not know what I'm doing. And like simple CSS stuff, Tailwind, I feel like I can correct that and just put it in my pull request without wasting too much time later, and it won't confuse people. But let's get things like the date formatted. We'll get our line numbers working. Yeah, let's get things that matter done. And so let's work on our date format. And let's see, I just need to see what we did. So if I pull up our Gist Live, no, it's not just where is it our Gist form? No, sorry guys, bear with me. This is just me being lost in a project I haven't been in a while. Gist Live. Okay, Gist Live. Where did I format? Oh, here we are. So yeah, in our Gist Live, we're using timex to format. So instead of doing this in our mount function, let's go ahead and actually create a utility file where we can access this from other places. So let's see. We can just, let's see, in our Gist web, let's create a new folder and let's call this utilities. And then inside of this, we'll create a new file and we'll call this our date format.ex and then def module. All right. And then inside of this, we're going to just create a function that def, and we'll call it get relative time, and it'll take a date time. And we're going to do the same thing that we're doing right here. We're just going to copy that, paste that, and let me think here. So relative time, and then we're just going to update, instead of just updated at, we're passing in the date time. Okay, cool. And then we're just going to return relative time right here for now. Okay, so save that. And then if we utilities.date format, that's what we want. So we're just gonna alias that in. So utilities date format. And then instead of doing all of this right here, we can delete that. And let's see, we're going to be calling gist.updated at, and then we can just call our date format, get relative time, and then we have our gist.updated at, and then if we save that and we go to our, and now we have yesterday there, and it's still working. So I made a bunch of gists yesterday because my database was cleaned out since I did this last. So unfortunately, all of our date stamps are probably going to say yesterday, but it is what it is. Oh no, we do have one that we just made today. So that'll be good. So now we can call that same function in our all gists live view. So let's go ahead and alias that in. So if we do alias Elixir gist web dot utilities and then dot date format, and now we can just call that right here. So we can say date format dot get relative time and pass in the updated at in our heeks right here. And now when we look at it, there we go. So 1 month ago, yesterday, oh, I do have older ones. That's good. And let's see, yesterday, where is today's? 45 minutes ago. So cool. We see it, but we see that things are not in order. So let's go to our context file and we can actually format our get gist to be ordered in ascending order. All right, so to our context file, gists. All right, so we have list gists here. I'm going to just, so we can just delete this and we'll say our gist schema, and then let's pipe in. So pipe in, this is on list gists. Sorry if I didn't explain that. And then what we can do is the same thing, what we were just doing. So repo.all returns them all, right? So this function is going to, this context function is doing exactly what it was before. And to make sure that works, let's just refresh, and we're still getting data. So our list all function is working, but it's not ordered. And then right above it, we can just say, we can just pipe in and we can call order by. And we want to do descending. So we just say DSC : and then we pass in the atom of the field we want to sort by. And you could do inserted at or updated at. I want to do updated at because if we update our gist, I feel like you want it to be like, hey, this was just updated, right? So updated at. And then when we save it, now when we go back to our all gists view, you see that our gist created 47 minutes ago is now at the top, which is really cool. We have some weird formatting stuff going on that we'll have to figure out. But then we have yesterday, and then at the bottom, we have 1 month ago. So it is now sorted in descending order, which is really cool. And now let's see, what should we work on now? I'm going to wrap this up soon, but I want to do one more thing. I think what we could do is maybe we work on our preview text. Maybe that would be good. Let's see. We have our all gists. Yeah, let's work on our preview text, and then we'll work on more stuff in the next live stream. So instead of, having all these lines of code, we want to just show maybe 10 lines. So let's go ahead and go back to our all gists live because we have our gist component here, and we can just create a private function in here. So def p, and we'll say get preview text, and this is going to take our gist, and let's see, we are going to basically just use our markup text. So let's say when not, we'll put a guard in, is nil, and we're gonna, so when gist dot markup text is not nil, we're gonna call this function, and then if it is nil, we'll just do some pattern matching, and we'll just do get preview text, and this will also take a gist that we're not going to use, and we can just return, let's do a shorthand function. So we're just going to return an empty string if our markup text is blank, right? Now the first thing we need to do is we're taking our markup text, we want to split at our new lines. So every return, there's a \n, right? So we need to get all of our lines. So we're gonna say lines equal, and then gist dot markup text, and then we can just pipe in and say string dot split, and we wanna split it at our new line character, right? So now this is going to return a list of all of our lines, and then we can say, we can just do a conditional here. So if length of our lines is greater than 10, we want to do this. Else we want to just join them again. So, and we want to show them all. So join, you know, actually we don't even need to join. If lines are greater than 10, we'll just say gist dot markup text gets returned, right? Yeah, that'll work. And then, so if it's greater than 10, we want to just take the 0 through 9 of our list, right? So we can just do something like enum.take, and we're going to pass in our lines list, and we're going to take the first, it doesn't matter. We could do 10, let's say the first 9, and then, so we know that it's not, so if we want to know it's been concatenated or cut off, right? So let's do just a little let's just add our suffix to the end, and we'll do like a little dot, dot, dot for the 10th line. So just, we're going to add a string of dot, dot, dot as our 10th line to our list. And then we're going to just pipe into this, and now we can just say enum.join, and we want to join it at our \n, so our new line character. So now if we save this, we can call this from our markup here. So now if we say get preview text, and then we pass in our markup, save it, and now hopefully, fingers crossed, this didn't work. All right, now we gotta figure out what I did here. So we got our gist markup text. Oh, we want to just pass in our gist. All right, and then there we go. So we have a function that is less than 10, and it's showing all of it. And then when it's more than 10, we get our dot, dot, dot at the end. So that's really cool. Formatting, we're gonna figure out. I'm curious if I do this. Yeah, this is doing it. Look, I don't know why it does this. We'll have to figure that out. So that moved it over, and so that fixed our tab on our def and on our function, which is so odd. So yeah, I don't know why it does this. If anyone knows, holler at me, let me know, because this is highlight.js. And if you remember, we made our JS hook. So we have our highlight hook here, and we're passing in our code block and doing our syntax numbers. So we're gonna have to add, like we did data name here, another attribute, our ID, and then that's how we'll have our syntax numbers customized. But I think we just hit an hour exactly. So I think this is a good spot to end it. I'm pretty happy. We got our all gists view for the most part formatted. We got to figure out this top border line, and then our line numbers in the next one. And then we'll also preload our user data so we can access the user email for who created it. And we'll make this selectable. So clicking on this will go to this view. And then if you own it, you can delete it or edit it. If you don't own it, you can copy it. So I think this is cool. This is a good place to end. It's a good hour live stream. And we'll just continue with this project next week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Coding live is a little stressful, but I think it went all right. So thank you guys so much. Have a good weekend. I appreciate you guys. Enjoying the video? Show some love with a like and hit subscribe to stay updated. To support me and keep the content free, click join for memberships or pick up a course at elixirmentor.com and get free access to my private community. Let's jump back in. Later, guys.